It was about the little guy, and it always has been. It always gives an opportunity for the person that doesn't have the most fame or fortune to have a chance here. It doesn't happen.
A fair shot for everyone.
Fair shot for everyone. That's what it's about. So that's interesting. That's good.
Good luck to you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
So this poster put here because the first time that people of New Hampshire could actually vote directly for president was in 1952. And since 1952, every single president that we've had has won at least one New Hampshire primary, and it's shown beneath their names. And the person who started all this was a representative from Richmond, Stephen Bullock.
How do you spell his name with a PH? He spelled his name S-T-E-P-H? I'll be darned. That's how my name was spelled.
And, so we had a special guest today, Sybil. Is her great.
This is my aunt? Steve, yeah. Nice meeting you too.
He was my great-grandfather.
Is that right?
And I inherited the desk.
And you,
So this
is this here full-time or is it?
Oh, yes, I gave it to the state.
Is that right? So, like, let's say, because this was about a century ago, right? So let's say this all works out, you give it to the White House, right? I know,
No, I don't think he would do that.
He wouldn't give it up?
I don't think so.
So this was his desk at home, or, because he was a farmer,
Yeah.
right?
This is the desk he did. He was a tax collector and a state representative off and on because it's a small town. It still has only about 1,000 people.
Rural areas are kind of important for this country, aren't they? I'm just asking. Yeah?
Well,
Okay.
that's he was a small farmer. They didn't have electricity until the late 1930s.
Oh, no, they didn't have electricity in the farm until Aunt Edith put it in back in the 70s. And so,
In the 1970s?
70s, yeah. Because we used to have Girl Scout camp out there in the summer. Grandpa Bullock sold the farm in the 20s and moved into Winchester. And then after World War II era, Aunt Edith was able to buy it back. She was brought up by my great-grandparents who were her grandparents.
And that's how I found out about it, from the town clerk. I asked the town clerk if there was any Bullock in the town. She couldn't think of any, so she said, give me a few days, let me talk to some of the old timers. And then she called me back and said, his granddaughter is alive and her name is Edith Atkins. And here's her phone number. So I just called her. She had no idea that he had done this, but she had his obituary in 1941. She had the death, she had his straw hat, she had all, because she still had the farm. Because the first question I had for her was, did you actually know him at all?
Yeah.
And she said, he raised me because my mother died shortly after giving birth, and so my grandmother and grandfather raised me. So I then got into talking to her about, did he take you when he went to vote? Oh yes. And then I said, did he take you to a presidential primary? And she says, well, I can't say. He just took me to vote a lot. He didn't explain to me what.
Sure.
And then after a few minutes, she said, why do you keep asking about the presidential primary? I said, because I'm looking at the handwritten legislation. He's the one that established the primary by a bill he put in that became law. And she was, I can't believe this. He
Never spoke about it?
Never spoke about it. So this guy, I asked her if I could come down and do a video with her. And she said, come to the library. There was only a one-room library, and I asked her if I could have a former governor, Hugh Gray, come with me because he was very interested in this. And she said, certainly, I would love to meet him. I actually helped in his campaign when he was governor. He was like the governor in 1952. So we went down and saw her, and we spent a couple hours with her, everything on a video. And then she said, would you like to come to the farm? So she took us to the farm and showed us all of his possessions. I mean,
Is that right?
yeah. And so that was it. That was the last time I talked to her or saw her. 2 years later, I called her, and it was about 10 in the morning, and this woman answered, and I said, Edith, is this you? And she said, who are you? And I said, I'm Bill. And she thought right there, my aunt told me all about you. But she said, I'm sorry to tell you, she passed at 3 o'clock this morning.
Oh, wow.
So I called on the morning, it was Sybil
Yeah.
that I was talking to. And so that's, and it was, and during his lifetime, he died in 1941, and his obituary didn't say anything about this. His granddaughter, who he raised, had no idea that he put this legislation. It's significant because the primary wasn't a big event like this nationally back then, and it has become over,
I've noticed.
time, but that's why a quiet bullock.
Yeah, and I've never seen the word quiet and bullock in the same sort of frame, so that's pretty darn good.
So that's, so maybe,
then
you
Sybil,
told me
you-
a while back that you had, your ancestors go to Iowa, and you said some of your family went to
So,
Iowa.
and
No.
I need to track all the way back too for the bullocks. I haven't done enough of that, but sort of the notion of the Mayflower.
Well, I have brought the Mayflower book, but Aunt Edith was into ancestry and so on, and I have the book, this book, direct line back to England to the year 1219.
Is that right?
Wow.
Have you done that 23andMe? Me neither. Like if we did, you might be having me over tonight for sure.
But Edith had two older sisters, and my mother was the oldest of the three. And when Edith was born, my grandmother passed away, and the Bullocks. My mother was born at the farm in Richmond, but Elizabeth and Edith were born in Winchester, New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah.
But, so anyway, they took Aunt Edith and brought her up, and that's how, when they passed away, that's how everything that they had came to her, and in turn, she left everything to me.
Well, it's like what a legacy for you to give this to the state of New Hampshire, at least until next November.
Oh, okay.
So we had 4 years ago, all the presidential candidates. You can see that's the collage from but before we started using this desk, we had the only piece of furniture that was in the State House when it opened in 1819.
Oh, is that right?
That was the desk. But now that we have
Yeah.
this desk, the Bullock desk, and the person, so you're...
And is there a Bullock family discount?
This is they're getting known because the ballot box here in Richmond
Yeah.
has, like all these ballot boxes, were purchased by the Secretary of State in 1891.
Is that right?
To be used in the 1892 election.
Yeah.
And all the ones in red are still using it. And Richmond is one of the towns. So in 1916, when he cast his presidential primary ballot, he put it in that box. And the people in Richmond, 4 years ago, the Democrats, because he was a Democrat, put this ballot in that box. And these were the candidates 4 years ago on the Democratic ballot. And this was a Republican ballot 4 years ago. So the town, these ballot boxes are 130 some
Wow.
years old, and they're still being used in the towns that
Are in the red.
And then there's this machine that was part of it. See the machine at the top? That is a ballot counter machine. It would count up to 999 ballots. And so there are towns to
It's
this
still
day
used?
that are using a machine that was patented in 1890 by a guy from Troy, New York. So the states that have purchased voting machines 12, 15 years ago now, they're antiquated. They have to,
Yeah,
it's the
probably better ballot security in that than some of the things we've seen lately.
And they were from Springfield, from the Armory, and every town had its name, and the ballot went in the top. And when the ballot, it was a crank on the side of it, and it would hit a rod, and it would ring the bell. So you knew whenever the bell, that was a ballot going in them. In those days, the integrity of the election, it was important to have the ballot numbers match the names on the
Yeah.
checklist that were checked off. That was the safety. And so they had a counting device that
I'll be darned.
did that.
Century later, we're still worried about.
So that was the
ballot
first
security.
primary, but it wasn't first. And I told Mayor Pete and the Vice President Pence that if they wouldn't have to have come here, because in 1916, Indiana had its primary a week ahead of New Hampshire. And if they had just kept it, but after 1916, Indiana moved its primary to May, and Minnesota that had its primary on the same day as us in 1916, they got rid of the primary. So in 1920, that's why this poster, this is the 100th anniversary of New Hampshire being first in the nation, and the first primary in 1920. Richmond is a town that is southwest corner of the state, over here. And the town next to it is Winchester. And Winchester, wouldn't you know, in 1920, the person who won the New Hampshire, first in the nation, was a person who was born in Winchester. And he was born in Winchester because his mother was on a train, and she was trying to get home
Yeah,
to give birth, but the baby wouldn't wait, and so they said she has to get off at the next stop, and the next stop was the town of Winchester, New Hampshire. So she got off at a post office. They had her go upstairs, they had a room.
and had the baby right.
She had the baby there. She stayed there for 3 months with the baby. So she was strong enough, and the baby was, and then they left. So that baby was
A real special
Leonard
delivery.
Wood, and he was head of the Rough Riders. Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, is that right?
Teddy Roosevelt was his second in command. And the next in command was the guy, Henry Knox, who owned the Manchester Union Leader. So when Leonard Wood, Teddy Roosevelt was going to run for president. He had decided he was going to give it another try in 1920. And he died in 1919. And because he was friendly with Leonard, he wanted Wood to run. And so he told his supporters, go with
Go
Wood.
with Wood.
And in Missouri, there's Fort Wood.
Yeah.
That's Leonard Wood.
Well, I'll be darned.
So after he was the head of the Rough Riders, he was named governor of Cuba. And then he was named governor general of the Philippines. And then he came back, and the country had been trying to capture Geronimo for many years. And he took on the assignment, and he captured him. So he became very well known. He ended up winning New Hampshire and 8 other primaries. There were 12 primaries in 1920. And his main opponent was Hiram Johnson, a senator from California. And he ended up not winning the nomination.
Yeah.
Warren Harding, who was not in any of the primaries. There weren't as many then. So Winchester and Rindge, the guy is from Rindge, the first winner of the first in the nation that was somebody born. And the papers here, if you were to go back and look at the newspapers, sort of like today in some ways, but he was declared the favorite son, the native born. You have to vote for the person from here. He only was 3 months in this state, so.
Well, you know, I was born in New Hampshire too.
You were?
No,
So now it's your, so this is his desk, and you have the, you have the declaration,
and the check for 500.
yeah?
Ha
So you should just sign,
Right here.
right up here, right there, right above where you have, right in this area, right
Sounds
there.
great.
How you, and you just want Steve Bullock on the ballot.
Please.
Yeah.
Or should I do Stephen A?
No, yeah, it's what you want.
Okay,
And-
just for the connection to
Oh.
the other bullet. So that's that part of it, and this is exactly from the U.S. Constitution. The wording from the Constitution starts here and goes to here, and sometimes I've had candidates read it, but you've read it, so you, unless Right.
you,
And I just hit 35 too, so that helps too. No, I'm kidding. 53.
so this is your.
That's for you.
Yep. So that, that takes care of the official, your officially, oh yeah.
Terry?
Bill.
So, anyway, so this is, so you're an official candidate at this point.
Fantastic.
You'll be on the ballot, and the ballot, the names are rotated. So you'll be an equal number of times, first, second, depending on how many.
They won't put all the Bs together or anything like that, because there's still like 6 of them.
No, it'll be, so, this has been a tradition. So on the day of your filing, some candidates put their campaign slogan just in a few words, or some message that 50 years from now, or 100 years from now, if some of your family ends up back here, they may go to the archives and say, what did he actually write on the day that he filed? So, if you want to do it now, or you want to do it before you leave, you want to,
Whatever you want.
up to you. Would you rather? So just here or find.
I shouldn't cross out or write over.
We're getting
And
there.
stayed on here.
Yeah, that's just a glass.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A fair shot for
Fair
all.
shot for all. And you know, Stephen Bullock was a small farmer, and he simply didn't want the big shots always making the decisions and always being the delegate. He thought that he should have a chance to be a delegate, and that he should help choose the delegate. So his bill simply said that any person in the state who was a registered member of the party could go to the Secretary of State's office and for $10 get his, when he did it, only men could vote. By the next one, and the 1920 primary, only men could vote, because that was in March. It was until the summer that the amendment giving.
You know, Montana had already elected a woman to the House of Representatives. Jeanette Reagan.
Before 1920? Wow.
But he had,
So he, that's what he wanted.
yeah.
And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't that's why in his lifetime, he never even, the obituaries, and Sybil gave us, one was from the Boston Globe, another was, I think, the Union Leader, or was it the Sentinel? Anyway, there was no
Didn't
mention.
even mention it.
Because it was not a, so that's why his granddaughter had no idea, even though
That's great.
she, so it was about the little guy, and it always has been. It always gives an opportunity for the person that doesn't have the most fame or fortune to have a chance here. It doesn't happen.
A fair shot for everyone.
Fair shot. That's what
Yeah.
that's what it's about. So that's interesting. That's good. So